arm strength, but not really a strong arm. Not really sure.
Yeah, like I said, he maybe doesn't have a comparison as of right now. I want to see him more. I think he can kind of resemble maybe Matt Stafford, where I don't know. I mean, he kind of looks like that, but it's really hard to compare right now. I think maybe if he would have been in the draft this year, we could start comparing. So Dave, who do you think?
Well, I don't really pay attention too much to this, so I don't really have an opinion on this. Okay, so number two.
Probably, if you want your best comparison, and some fans may not like it, it's probably going to be Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's probably going to be your best comparison.
Yeah, I agree. Because that's a good observation. I think Barkley could exactly resemble Fitzpatrick. It always depends on where he could go, what receivers he has, but he's going to be interesting to see where he ends up.
Yeah, big fan of Fitzpatrick.
Number two, Tyler Wilson of Arkansas. Ultimate Draft Guide. Do you see him being like Mallet, where he drops in the draft? And another guy you probably can't compare, but if you can, give one. But where do you think he's going to go in the draft?
He's probably going to wind up going in the top 15 or the top 20. I mean, in terms of Ryan Mallett had a tremendous deal of physical ability. I mean, one of the best arms, could make almost every throw effortlessly, but there were some off the field concerns with Ryan Mallett, which is the reason why he drafted. And Ryan Mallett doesn't have great mobility. I mean, Tyler Wilson, I'd say, is probably going to be a first-round draft, top 15, top 20 type of guy. Possibly top 10. I mean, we'll just have to see how the season unfolds. But, I mean, he's got the tools. And the thing with Tyler Wilson is he's really willing to stand in there and take a hit. I mean, he doesn't get happy feet. I mean, I saw him take some punishing shots and lead Arkansas to comeback victories. I mean, I saw him rally Arkansas over Texas A&M when they faced Ryan Tannehill. And, I mean, that guy, he's tough. He's definitely tough.
Yeah, I could agree. I think you could see him going in the top 20s. I think, like you said, if he does go to a team that has a weak offensive line, he's going to be able to take the hits. But again, you never want your quarterback, your franchise quarterback, taking big hits like that. But yeah, I agree. He showed some bull toughness in some important games last year. So, Dave, who is the next player that we got?
Number 3, Logan Thomas.
Logan Thomas, Ultimate Draft Guide. Who do you see? Where do you see him going? And give us some insight on him.
Well, Logan Thomas is one of the most intriguing quarterback prospects, probably the most intriguing quarterback prospect in next year's draft class. I mean, the guy is just huge. I mean, he's about 6'6". If I remember correctly, he's 254, and the guy is built like a Mack truck. He's a pocket passer. He's a pocket passer. He will take some quarterback draws, and he will run. And because of his size, I mean, once he works up some steam, he's very hard to tackle. Zach Brown, the linebacker from UNC, from North Carolina, I mean, he just shook Zach Brown off like Zach Brown was nothing. So, probably if I had to compare him, if you guys remember Dante Culpepper would probably, but Dante Culpepper was a much better runner, but in terms of ability, probably a young Dante Culpepper, poor man's Dante Culpepper, not quite as athletic.
Yeah, I agree. That's a really good comparison. Culpepper back in the old Vikings uniforms and whatever. But that's a really good comparison. He does have great size, and that was good when he shoved Zach Brown to the ground. So, Dave, who's our next?
Next we got Landry Jones. I don't know too much about him.
Ooh, Landry Jones from Oklahoma. Ultimate Draft Guide. Who do you see Landry Jones looking like, and where do you think could he go high in the draft?
Landry Jones has to be considered one of the top quarterback prospects in this year's upcoming draft, the 2013 draft. He's got a great arm. I mean, he can sling it all over the field. He has a gunslinger mentality. In terms of where he's going to go in the draft, I mean, he could go. I mean, he should definitely probably go top 10 as long as he has a great season. He started off last year well, and it looked like, I mean, he's going to have a phenomenal year, but once Ryan Broyles went down, he lost a lot of confidence. In terms of playing style, not an exact, but because he's got the gunslinger mentality and he's got the great arm, and because he'll throw it all around the field, if I had to go with someone, I'd say Brett Favre.
Ooh, that's a really good comparison because he does have that gunslinger mentality. So now, Dave, you got a running back for us here now?
We got Monty Ball out of Wisconsin.
Oh, Monty Ball out of Wisconsin. Ultimate Draft Guide, he had a really good season last year, actually. Do you see him being like Richardson, where he could go really high, or do you see him more like a, maybe David Wilson, even though he was in the first round? Do you see him falling, or where do you see Ball in the scheme of the draft?
Well, I have to say, I don't know if you guys know, there's no way you could have known this, but I'm a huge Wisconsin fan. I mean, the Wisconsin Badgers are my favorite team in all of college football. Love the Badgers. I've watched basically every Badger game for the past few years. And Monty Ball is a really good prospect. Doesn't compare to anybody right now. No comparison to Monty Ball. What I'd say, I mean, he's definitely not an elite running back prospect, though. He had great production, but what you're looking for when you're taking rookies is you're looking for characteristics. So, great all-around running back. I mean, he can catch passes. He's worked a lot on his game. Looking forward to seeing what he does. I see Monty Ball probably as a late first round, early second round type guy. Could go late first round, but he's definitely not an elite running back prospect like Trent Richardson. But I'd say he's a much safer pick than David Wilson. He doesn't have any fumbling issues, and he doesn't have the issues in pass block I did.
Yeah, I agree with all those points. That's really good insight on Monty Ball. Before we go to another topic, I'm going to stick on Wisconsin. Do you think Russell Wilson could be a starter in Seattle?
That's an interesting question. I mean, Russell Wilson, love Russell Wilson. He's, phenomenal, winner, has all the intangibles. Been watching him since his freshman year. It's definitely possible. I mean, if you look at Russell Wilson, in terms of everything with the exception of height, he's an elite prospect. I mean, you look at all his measurables, his tangibles. I mean, everything is there. He's got the arm strength. He's got the speed. I mean, he ran like a 4.5 40. He can run away from guys. Good mobility, strong on the move, good leader, plays well from behind. The only thing holding him back is his height. If they can craft an offense where they move the pocket or they move him around, they create some throwing lanes. I don't see Russell Wilson starting this year. But if Matt Flynn falls, if he flops, then I can see Russell Wilson starting next year. Big Russell Wilson fan.
Yeah, I agree. I think you really could see him in the starting lineup because, there's really no chance for me seeing Tavares Jackson under center in Week 1. And you're right, Matt Flynn really, there's some uncertainty in Matt Flynn. But he had a great game in Week 17 against the Lions. But I don't really think you can base it off of the couple games he started. And I think, really, you could see Russell Wilson under center maybe this year or next year. So, Dave, what's our next topic?
All right, before we end, we got one more topic. Browns quarterback Colt McCoy said he wants a fair competition for the starting job with Brandon Weeden. Do you think that he will get this?
Do I think he'll get a fair opportunity to start?
Yeah.
I think he'll get an opportunity. I think he'll definitely get an opportunity. The only thing you have to take in consideration is Brandon Weeden is going to be 29, I believe, the first week of October. So he's going to be 29. The Browns spent a first-round draft pick on him. He's got a lot more physical tools than Colt McCoy does. I mean, he's older than Colt McCoy. So, I mean, the guy played professional baseball. So I'd have to believe, I mean, McCoy will get a fair shot, but I've got to believe that if it's equal, I've got to believe that the Browns front office, Tom Heckert and, Mike Holmgren, all those guys and the coaching staff, I've got to believe they're going to want to get Brandon Weeden on the field. And I see Brandon Weeden just as a better prospect. I mean, I loved Colt McCoy in college. He just doesn't have the physical characteristics that translate to being a franchise quarterback in the NFL. And I like Colt a lot.
Yeah, I agree, but I think that Brandon Weeden's going to start. I think he has a better advantage than McCoy to be the starter right now, and I think he's expected to be it.
I think it could go a lot of different ways. I think you could see Weeden starting, but then struggling, and maybe then you put McCoy in later in the season. I think they'll both see starting time during the season. What else could happen, too, is maybe you sit McCoy down. Since Weeden is older than McCoy, you have to start him now. I mean, if you waste a first-round pick on him, you got to start him now because he's already, like you said, going to be turning 29. So you got to start it. And maybe McCoy sits for a while, or maybe you trade him for trade bait. So maybe you can get something else. So So, hey, Ultimate Draft Guide, thank you for joining us. It was really fun. Thanks again for being on the show.
Hey, guys, it was a pleasure, and you guys have a great day.
Okay, you too. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Okay, so that's going to do it for NFL Experts Live. Make sure to go to our YouTube page and subscribe at youtube.com/NFLExperts. Follow me at DB Sports Talk on Twitter and Dave at Crest Sports.
All right, too.